Yes, we will also talk about it. We're covering the XZ-Utils story and more this week on ThreatWire. On March 29th, Andres Front, a Microsoft software engineer, identified a backdoor in the open source XZ-Utils compression tools. Front was micro-benchmarking a system and saw that invalid SSH logins were causing a larger than usual amount of CPU usage, creating a 500 millisecond delay. After profiling the SSHD process, Front noticed that most of the CPU time was being taken by liblzma, part of the XZ-Utils packet. Working through the package, Front discovered that a backdoor had been coded into the tarballs of XZ-Utils versions 5.6.0 and 5.6.1. During the build process in these versions, an obfuscated script is executed which injects malicious code into the final executable. This backdoor has been assigned as CVE 2024-3094 with the maximum CVSS score of 10. It has been confirmed that SSH servers using the backdoored XZ-Utils versions are vulnerable to full remote code execution as root. Cryptography engineer Filippo Valsorda reported on Blue Sky the following: the hooked RSA public decrypt verifies a signature on the server's host key by finding a fixed ED448 key and then passes a payload to system. An exploit tool called XZBot has already been developed and published, so organizations which believe they could be vulnerable should downgrade to a version of XZ-Utils prior to 5.6.0. GitHub has also removed the XZ-Utils repo, so please look safely for mirrors of older versions. What is perhaps the most interesting part of the story is how the backdoor entered the codebase in the first place. While technically this is a supply chain attack, we must also address that this is also a highly sophisticated social engineering attack as well. For years, the XZ-Utils project was developed and maintained by Lassie Collin with minimal help from others. According to self-described programmer and hacker Evan Boas, approximately 2 years ago, a developer known only as Gia Tan started contributing code to XZ-Utils. Around the same time, another user, Jigar Kumar, started pressuring Lassie Collin to add another maintainer to the project. After Gio was confirmed to maintain, Jigar disappeared. Progress will not happen until there is a new maintainer. Submitting patches here has no purpose these days. The current maintainer lost interest or doesn't care to maintain anymore. It is sad to see for a repo like this. Whether this pressure was nefarious or not is unknown, however, it does seem to have had that effect. Lassie gave Gia Tan commit access to the main XZ-Utils GitHub repo sometime afterwards. Gia would continue to contribute code to XZ-Utils over the next 2 years, with the majority being, as far as we are aware, non-malicious. Research shows many of the active accounts that were pressuring for changes across open source software that benefited the backdoor became dormant immediately after success. This can be extrapolated to show that the threat actors were using SOC accounts to actively pressure the maintainer and the community into making strategic decisions to enable this backdoor to become integrated. In June of 2023, Gia Tan committed code which would later be used by the backdoor, though the code seems to have been written by another user, Hans Jansen. The true extent of Jansen's involvement is unknown at this time, though their GitHub account appeared to be created specifically to submit this code, and a person with a similar username later pushed for the backdoored package to be included in Debian. The final backdoored code would be committed by Gia in February of 2024. In a somewhat ironic twist, the initial backdoored version 5.6.0 had a bug which caused the Valgrind debugging and profiling tool to crash. This was quickly patched by Gia, leading to a second backdoored version 5.6.1. Suffice to say, had it not been for Front's dedication, who knows when the backdoor would have been discovered and how many systems would have been compromised. There are many questions to still be answered. Who exactly is Gia Tan? Did they work alone, or were there others like Jigar Kumar and Hans Jansen involved? This entire event goes to show, once again, that supply chain attacks are a huge threat. In open source software, critical pieces of software are often maintained by a small group of people who do it for passion and are unpaid. Spare a thought for Lassie Collin, the main developer of XZ-Utils, who so far does not appear to have been involved. He was duped by a person he had praised numerous times in mailing lists. Currently, his GitHub account has been suspended, and so has the XZ-Utils repo he worked on for years. Nobody should blame him for what happened, and we hope he doesn't blame himself either. This is not an April Fool's prank. OWASP had a data breach. Discovered in February 2024, the foundation learned their wiki web server was misconfigured, leading to the leaking of many member resumes. According to their website, members from 2006 to 2014 were affected if you provided your resume upon joining. They have already executed steps for mitigating this leak. OWASP has already removed your information from the internet, so no immediate action on your part is required. Nothing needs to be done if the information at risk is outdated. However, if the information is current, such as containing your mobile phone number, please take the usual precautions when answering unsolicited emails, mail, or phone calls. Over the past month, we've reported on some open-ended stories, specifically for the ThreatWire episode posted for the week of March 18th. There's some updates, so let's jump into them. First, we reported that the NVD had essentially ceased all operations in favor of preparation of a consortium dedicated to the work. This had many security people concerned about the future of CVEs, and the fact that there continues to be a gap in the population of important data for thousands of CVEs that have dropped since mid-February. This past weekend, at the annual CNA Summit, which was hosted in tandem with VulnCon, a cybersecurity conference dedicated to vulnerability management, we received an update. Tanya Brewer, NVD Program Manager, made the official announcement that the NIST is formally launching its industry consortium to manage the NVD, as well as offload some of the responsibilities of CVE response and help with funding and feedback responsibilities. At the summit, eligibility for the consortium was also shared. In summary, candidates must be organizations, sign the same cooperative research and development agreement with NIST, and accept the same conditions and risks. A membership fee is being considered. Entities that are prohibited from signing a CRADA may be able to participate in the consortium under an alternative appropriate agreement. Each member will have one seat on the steering committee. The consortium will be structured into different working groups. There were no comments about the existing backlog of CVE enrichment. However, on March 31st, the NVD posted an update on their website. There is a growing backlog of vulnerabilities submitted to the NVD and requiring analysis. This is based on a variety of factors, including an increase in software and therefore vulnerabilities, as well as a change in interagency support. Currently, we are prioritizing analysis of the most significant vulnerabilities. In addition, we are working with our agency partners to bring on more support for analyzing vulnerabilities and have reassigned additional NIST staff to this task as well. On a personal opinion side, while money is important, how does funding affect CVEs? How will it be sure that no company can pay to have their desired CVEs given a higher or lower rating depending on how they want the PR to go? There's definitely some things that need to be worked out regarding what information is available. However, this will be a long-standing story that will be updated in many parts. Let's hope things end up working out for the best. If you didn't know, the Unicode's emojis are also established and decided on by a consortium populated by members of software and hardware companies. I imagine many other things are dictated by consortiums, so if you know of any off the top of your head, I would love to hear about them in the comments below. In that same episode, we talked about a potential massive AT&T leak that happened on a dark web data leak forum. The data was independently verified as real, meaning that 73 million customers' information was leaked. AT&T went on the record in the past stating that data from a much older data for sale drop was not theirs, but rumors were saying that this newer data leak was actually the data from this old ransom posted for free. AT&T has come out to confirm that this new leak is of their data, stating that AT&T data-specific fields were contained. However, it's unclear whether the data was pulled from AT&T directly or from a third-party vendor. The investigation is currently underway. I hope you enjoyed ThreatWire for the week of April 1st, 2024. Last week's comments were great. This one comment by Drew M7071 brings up a great point about the US Cyber Trust Mark. The label is an interesting approach, but it should come with an expiration date. Nothing that was secure last year remains secure this year, and I totally agree. The labels should be dated, and I think it actually helps teach people that tech needs to be updated on a regular basis to remain secure. If you didn't catch the writing session on my Twitch channel this week, the first story was actually written by my friend OX Tiberius. He works in application security, is the inventor of the Auto Recon tool, and is a cybersecurity content creator. We actually switched streams on Monday for April Fool's Day, so I did his normal Monday stream. And also a huge shout out to Track It Pacer for guest starring in the Hack 5 April Fool's video I made. I learned a lot in making that video, but mostly that I need to get more lights. I've linked both of their information in the description box down below. Just as a heads up, my name is Allie, spelled A-L-I, and I do read all the comments, and people misspell my name all the time, which is fine. But yesterday when I was reading the comments, someone called me Amy, and I was pretty confused about it, so just wanted to let y'all know. Another update is that I messed up on saying the dates for the start of the book club. The book club will be starting on April 24th, and thank you so much for understanding. If you want to join, please sign up over at our Patreon at patreon.com/ThreatWire. Our first meeting will be going over rules of engagements, introductions, discussing a calendar of meetings, as well as a private Q&A. Also, there's another dog with me this week. This is Brewski. He's a 3-year-old silver pug, but I've known him since he were less than 5 months old. He's definitely my baby, and I love him a lot. Thank you so much for tuning into ThreatWire this week. As per usual, I'm Allie Diamond. You can find me everywhere online at Ending with Allie. Good luck, have fun, and don't get caught. Are you sleepy?